Hi, Ria. Nice to have you here.
Hey, what's up?
So today we want to discuss ADHD, neurodivergence, most importantly. And neurodivergence affects a lot of people. 1 in 100 people are autistic. 1 in 10 people have ADHD. So that's quite a big figure. And these are people amongst us in this room right now. And it's very important as a society, as a world that we get to know our peers and how things affect them to make sure we make life more comfortable for them, Despite ADHD and autistic people having their differences to neurotypical people, their brains are going to be very, very important, in my opinion, over the next decade, in understanding how to function better to humanity, you know, breaking down the matrix and the regime we've been forced into, Our brains are quite unorthodox, which is a threat to the system currently. But with the way the world's changing and with the aid of ADHD and autistic people, I believe that we can help restore humanity's balance in regards to an actual healthy, work life and workload. A lot of us are, even despite being autistic or ADHD, even your typical people are having to wear masks every day and struggle, to live, and it isn't good. So yeah, it's very important for us as humanity just to understand each other and our differences. That's why I've got my friend Ria here. Ria, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Like, we're happy to have you here. Thanks for doing this, by the way.
No problem. I'm always happy to support and help out.
From a fellow brother.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. Before we do this interview, by the way, we'll text each other saying, be serious. We have to be serious. So we're going to try our best to be serious. And obviously, have a few jokes in the back, or why not? It's a Saturday.
Yeah. Did them right.
So thank you for coming here today. And I just wanted to speak to you regarding, obviously, yourself. You as a person, ADHD. I think it's so important as like a Black woman as well, that like your voice is heard and people can see like your struggles. Like, I know you go for a diagnosis process right now, but also understand about, we need to be diagnosed to start living life as a neurodivergent individual. Or, accepting your neurodivergence. It's have to be confirmed as a diagnosis. You know yourself best. So can you first tell me about yourself, your career? Look, give me a little synopsis about Ria.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'll take you through memory lane. So growing up, going into the education system, I really struggled with particular topics like maths, for an example. And I remember certain classes for particular types of subjects of classes, sorry, I always find myself either in the middle or towards the bottom. And no matter how hard I try, even if I do extra curriculum or whether I stay behind after school, nothing that I ever did felt good enough. And the way that I was taught wasn't based on my understanding. So then fast forward into uni is when I started the struggle got real thing. So that's when I was diagnosed with dyslexia and dyscalculia. And I was like, okay, that's cute. Let me just continue with my life. And then as I'm getting older, I've started to see particular behavioral patterns which was not aligned with the corporate structure. I was always the one that thought outside of the box, but then it wasn't welcomed because there's a set value or set thought process within the corporate world, which I understand. So today, where I'm at now is that I've come to understand that there might be something a little bit more extra spicy about me. And the reason why I've decided to go through the referral process is not because I want the label of, oh, I might have ADHD. It's simply because I want to learn how I can understand my thought process and how I can leverage that. Personally, for me, I'm not into the whole labeling system. You come as you are, and then basically you exploit your weak spots and you exploit your skills and your higher skill set, sorry. So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm currently studying a master's in psychology. What I want to do with that is two routes. I could either go down therapy and help the girls, or the girls, or I could utilize my business skills and go into business psychology. I haven't quite figured out that yet, but I'm not really too bothered at the moment. Yeah, I'm just trying to survive.
Just survive and make it
I'm just trying to make it every day, honey.
in the middle of it.
Yeah, be present.
Be present and be always there. I speak of being zen, like that's such a good mindset to have, that be present and focus on the now. And you mentioned a few things from what you said, and wow, the gate you mentioned so much really cool stuff. that was so interesting to hear. Because to me, it sounds like the neurodivergent experience is quite like not just you meet, we all have similar experiences some kind of way. So you mentioned something about like when you're working, when we're always school, never feeling good enough and always feeling like you were in a setting that reflects who you were or your actual capabilities. And even in corporate world as well, people not understanding your way of thinking. How does this affect your self-esteem? You don't mind me asking.
No, not at all.
Yeah, 'cause for me, it really better mine. So yeah.
So I probably felt the need to, number one, prove myself more and to assimilate to and adapt to the cultural practices or the dynamics of how people operate, whether it's how they speak, how they think, and how they present themselves. I did find myself feeling a bit ostracized within corporate settings, but I've gotten to the point in my life where like working relationships are relationships that you don't actually get to pick. So why am I pressed about, listen, I'm only here just to get my coins, okay? And then out of there. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not here to make friends in the corporate setting anyway, but I think one piece of advice I'll give to people who may believe that there might be on the spectrum is to understand, number one, is this getting the diagnosis, is it something that you really want? Or is it more of a social conditioning to prove to yourself that this is who I am and I fit in this box?
So like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, yeah. And then number two, like once you get diagnosed, what are you actually going to do about it? Because like it's all good having it on paper. Yeah, girl, you got ADHD, but then how are you actually going to improve your life and do that kind of like self-exploration post-diagnosis? One thing that I would love for society to start doing is to actually start to take accountability. It's not people's fault for having ADHD, but you are responsible for how you navigate through the world. And that is something that I don't see a lot in society. It's just, I have ADHD and this is who I am, which is fine, but then you need to do some work behind that. So that's just my take.
That's such a good mindset as well. Just my voice keeps going.
That's okay.
Yeah. So it's ADHD for pause. It's also Trium's life. Fact checked. Fake news.
Yeah.
I just got bathrobe. So yeah, and that's such a good point as well regarding like accountability, because I feel like accountability is a thing that people are missing a lot of these days in life in general. I feel like accountability mirrors authenticity in a way. 'Cause if you're authentic, you seek accountability. And do you feel like for ADHD people and people in general really to find a better sense of self and become like more confident with themselves, they should take more accountability for how they treat people and how the world affects, how they navigate for the world, that they create their own reality in a sense. What's your viewpoint on that?
So there's two types of cultural dynamics. You have individualism, which is basically more aligned to westernized societies and people want to kind of operate on being themselves. And then you have collectivism, which is basically herd-like mentality. You would see people within the Asian ethnicities or you could say community, they're more collectivist. And I think this is probably where there's a bit of, you could say, a grey area. Because ADHD is technically a group of people, you have collectivism because you share the experiences. But then westernized society, because we operate individualism, there's an overlap. And this is probably where people are not taking accountability because they can align themselves to a group of people, but then they have to also operate within themselves and to present themselves as an individual person. Accountability to me is not just about owning, but it's also about accepting. And some people might find that because I have ADHD, that means that it's a flaw, and that's probably something that they struggle to accept. Yeah.
So you feel like in a kind of a sense that if you're struggling to accept something, it's not my problem, that's your problem.
Yeah.
You need to work on your back.
It's a you.
That's your problem. It's true. It's true. So like you made a good point about work earlier.
Yeah.
And just in groups and work, a big issue I've had throughout my life is either being too direct for people or not following the structure that even neurotypical people start to struggle with. And you get ostracized from people counting you out in work, you're always the problem. And they kind of want directness, or they say you want it, but actually don't do it. Do you think, how do you feel like workplaces and even people in general, like in day-to-day life, can be more accepting and make life easier for neurodivergent people? I do feel like the reason why a lot of people, neurodivergent people leave workplaces isn't because they don't like the job. It's because they're antagonized by your management. we're antagonized by staff. We're antagonized. We are. People bully us. They count us out. They think we're the problem always. And we follow the rules, but it's wrong when we do the rules. But yeah, we just can't win. So we can't win. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
We can't win.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel like workplaces can actually try and make effort to actually make our lives easier instead of just doing it on paper?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to when you first hit that submit button on that job application. Is it actually a job that aligns with your values and your skill sets? I think that then goes back to the whole branch of accountability. Like if you made a decision to apply for that role, so you are making that intention to be in that workplace. I'm not trying to gaslight people because obviously ish happens and like obviously things don't work out the way that you want it to. For being aware of your values and your skill sets and aligning that to the roles that you want to go into always helps. But I think also like it's having that resilience because at the end of the day, nobody owes anyone anything. So what modern day businesses can do is when they do start to shape up particular roles, actually think about what's the personality profile for this person and how they can convey that messaging in job descriptions first. But then if someone is a little bit spicy, then basically it's all about that. It's all about the inclusion. So how can we understand that person's thought processes and how can we put, huddles or communication platforms or how can we leverage technology to help that person with their neurodivergency for that role? Because technology is always going to be here and businesses have bare money, so there's no excuse really.
Bare peas.
Bare peas.
Bare peas.
Listen, I would run every business, girl.
And I agree. I feel like businesses, they hoard money.
Yeah.
And they don't want to help their staff and others. And they put a little bit, and what they do, they complain about people not reaching targets. But if they put more money into helping people and make it easier, people will reach the target and they won't have to leave.
Yeah.
You mentioned your point as well about people actually being proactive before they apply for a job and saying, hey, look, and like you say, not trying to gaslight or make people feel bad. They have to take accountability to just want to save your own life. And if you're about to apply for a role and you like, okay, is this role, is it neurodivergent family, first of all? Would it fit my skill set? And can I thrive here? Would it take maximum? And sometimes I know you really do need a job, but if in a situation where you don't really need a job that badly and you can be a bit more lenient, you should take accountability. I'm trying to say it makes life easier for both parts. That's really cool. So I feel like in your life, have you ever had a situation where you applied for a job and had to go, look, okay, I need to take a step back now and do it for me this time and make sure it's still fits me better? Because cycles happen a lot in life, and I feel like with cycles we learn from them. And that's what you said before, like doing things over and over again. And when did it get to the point in this life cycle in regards to neurodivergence where you thought to yourself, when I'm going to work or applying for a job, I need to make this fit me this time? Because this is for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I probably would say literally earlier this year, lol. Because most of my work experiences is that I think the longest time I've been in a role is literally a year. And it's because like I'm tired of it's just because like it gets to the point where people don't understand me, where I have no choice but to leave. And it's been a continuous cycle ever since I left uni. But I've only just decided to kind of like take more accountability, and I am the director of my life, so I can shape my life to however the hell I want it to be. So I only this year, obviously some people might think, well, you've only just had this mindset, I don't mean anything. I don't really care because at the end of the day, we evolve. That's what humans are. Like we evolve and we change our mind, and that's absolutely fine.
Wow, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
You made a very good like statement that you're the director of your life. That's amazing. Like no one can put you in a situation or roles. And you made such a good point as well about people sometimes they don't mean to do it, but they project. And you're just doing this now, but at least I'm doing it now. And you've ended a cycle there, which is amazing. So probably for doing that and who'll be your first and being a director of your lives. So in regards to directing the sense on that topic, I feel like ADHD people and autistic people have so much potential to be great leaders. And even though I'm speaking to you, I've learned so much and it's been so insightful. What qualities from yourself do you think will be good in regard to leadership or teaching people things?
But so I probably would say I was reading this article on LinkedIn, and there's been a shift in the corporate, you could say, sphere, I don't know what you call it, but like people are now businesses are now wanting softer skills rather than technical skills. So they want emotional intellects. They want people who are able to read body language, who can understand different personalities, who can incorporate psychological safety into business practice, into the work environment. So the way that I show up is always around people centricity, but then also I can call it a night whenever people want to come through the teams. Okay, like yeah, cut the cameras and I'll be cutting a few people too. Let's keep it a bit. Yeah, let's keep it 100, honey. Yeah. So yeah, I think the softer skills like emotional intellect and communication, that's something that isn't taught. That's just human instinct. Technical skills like Excel, SQL, and all that kind of stuff that can be taught, but you can't teach emotional intelligence. You either have it or you don't. If you don't, then it's a wrap. Okay.
Like a burrito.
Yeah, it's yeah, call it a day, girl.
All of the.
Yeah.
So if you're in a situation where, because we're about emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
the point about it here, 'cause I do believe that as well. I do feel like a lot of people are born very high emotional intelligence or lower one.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if someone has emotional intelligence, they can develop it if they try, or do you feel like it's a thing where it becomes a nuisance in regards to navigating life and groups? Because I feel like in group dynamics or in workplaces, wherever you go, most of the issues transpire from no emotional intelligence. Even with like management a lot of the times, and where they don't have the emotional intelligence to manage people's emotions. So do you feel like in the future, I want to say, so I can't my question, but I'm going in circles. Let's give it a roundabout. I'm just like going round, M1, M2, M3, M6.
Okay, my friend.
My ref. I'm sitting trying to get to the point. I'll get to the point, guys. So my point is, do you feel like in the future, with how we're going within the world, the emotional intelligence will be a universal thing?
No, and the reason being is because I think it's between 60 to 80% of people don't have internal monologue with themselves. And I think like having that internal voice to speak through your thought processes, if you don't have that, then most likely, in my opinion, you're not able to read situations or people.
Oh, I didn't know what you're 20%, like, percentage.
I think it's between 60 to 80%, quite high, but I could be wrong. But I read this article that time ago, but like, it's just the fact that people don't have that internal voice.
Yeah, and I feel that's important to speak to yourself.
Yeah, because then, because sometimes you don't always have to, you don't always have to literally have that voice as a monologue. It's just literally just seeing something and analysing it. Yeah, so yeah, I find that's wild. But I think emotional intellect is probably something that's probably going to be reduced. And this is due to technology. And also, I think that people are slowly starting to lose community. Yeah, you need to be around people to have emotional intellect.
And speak to people.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think about this other day, actually. I was thinking that the reason why like, some people develop communication skills better is from the use of like using TikTok. And, like TikTok people share the stories and speak. We also made a good point that those people probably already had that in a monologue, in a dialogue. It's so interesting knowing that some people don't have that, because I speak to myself quite a lot. It's like I'll be in the kitchen speaking to myself. Like,
that's right.
I'm always shit. Sorry, I mean,
yeah. At the time, I even kiss myself in the mirror. So yeah,
as you should.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, God, you should. Like self-love. That's the point. That's what self-love. Like I was pointing like that's the point. Love yourself, but love yourself. When I say love, just say yourself. Love,
self,
love,
self,
love,
self.
I could go be serious. So be serious. Okay. In regards to self-love as well, as a neurodivergent individual, I feel like, well, in my opinion anyway, I feel like you shared this earlier as well, it does look at confidence in your early life. What helped you build your confidence back up? What helped reaffirm to yourself that I am more than, not even more, but I just have a special mind, and my mind's actually amazing. They just work differently. It's the way people want me to work. The matrix wants me to work, and I'm amazing how I am. How did you get to that point of confidence? Cycles, yeah.
That's a good question. I would probably say number one is through literally just maturing. And probably it's not helpful to people who are probably like 10 to 15 years younger than me. I think also like situation is also It's based off who you are intrinsically. You are either a resistant person, or you're either stubborn, or you're just someone who gives up. So it's about your actual makeup and who you are. And I think also having a curious mind helps with building your self-esteem, because you start to think about what other activities. For example, I got a life coach, and he's the one that started me or inspired me to start boxing.
That's so cool, like what?
So through my curious mind of, oh, let me have a discussion with a life coach, that's how I found something that's going to help me to, because sometimes punching things works, whether it's people or punch bags. I don't recommend people.
Don't try this at home, by the way. I'm gonna put a disclaimer, don't try this at home. I'm joking, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so like, and also move your body. For the life source in you, move your body. I can't stress that enough.
We're moving your body, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
Moving your body is so important, allow temperature. And it's like working your carcass, your body. Why is that so important to you, moving your body? What does it mean to you? And what does it mean for the mind?
Yeah. It means that, like, moving your body and finding some form of activity where you get to push yourself, you get to really understand the resilience of your body. I think most people underestimate how powerful your body is, but then through your mind, when you're challenging yourself, whether it's gym, whether it's boxing or dancing, each time you do something that you couldn't do the first time, you're literally building that resistance and that confidence, because then you're slowly starting to tell yourself, your brain is telling yourself and your body's telling yourself that, hey, I couldn't do this 2 weeks ago, but I can now. And then if you just have that same mindset to everything that you do, like whether it's content creating, whether it's business, or whether, I don't know, whether you want to start installing wigs, whether you want to start snatching wigs.
Way fronts.
Like, yeah, wigs coming off. Yeah, snatching wigs, putting wigs on, any form of action around the scalp, like you can do it.
Censure.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, like literally, like
To it.
exactly. And the most people might think he's problematic, and I do to a certain extent, but Kanye is a fantastic. He's not a role model. I don't think anyone on earth is a role model, but if you study him, take out the mash-upness, like he has so much self-belief, and nobody can tell him ish. And we can all learn something from Kanye, minus the other problematic stuff. But yeah, like I think Kanye is a great case study for people who want to build resilience and confidence.
Wow. Very good point as well about like with people as well. You have people like multifaceted, like you said, like, yes, a lot of problematic stuff he says, but he lost his confidence and he's created his life because no one can tell him ish. No one can tell him anything, and he's proud of who he is and confident, and he kind of creates his reality. So it's how you see life as well, that you create your reality. And if no one can tell you ish and you believe in yourself, you're opening the door to the life you want. Is what you're trying to say, in a way. Okay.
Because like thoughts and words are basically, there's so much power around, and you can literally manifest it, you can quit your reality. And like, for example, like whenever I go through phases of job hunting, I find myself that if I just stay dedicated, so I tell myself each day I'm going to apply for at least 10 roles, high quality roles that align to myself. You're putting in that energy, and then you're telling your mammal side of your brain that this is something that you want. And then this is where your brain will start to kind of look for opportunities. So it kind of like, you have to a certain extent, gaslight yourself. Like I
love how you say gaslight.
Yeah, you have to gaslight yourself, because basically you're saying that I want this and I deserve this. And then how you gaslight yourself is putting in the actions to kind of back up your statement. If that makes sense.
So like you have the thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Manifestation.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a huge difference between discipline and habit. So whenever you want to start something, you're going to need to have discipline. And that's basically whether you want to move around your room to cause that disruption for change. And then once you have that discipline, it turns into a habit. But the first part of creating something is having a discipline first.
We are, like the church say amen. She's literally just screwed your manifestation right there. Gasp. It's a manifestation dance. It's like, ooh, alignment dance. That's what I was about alignment. Yeah, that's already about putting things to alignment. So it sounds like from speaking to you, that's what you've done with your life.
Yeah.
You recognize cycles, you know what you want for yourself, and you're creating the reality of your wants by not taking ish. I know she made a good point as well, but like celebrities, even though we don't know them, we can still take, I'm saying worship them, but take qualities we see in people and apply it. Because that's how they got to where they wanted to be. That's how they became one in a million in a sense. And I think that's a good mindset to have. So in regards to religion, like you don't have to be religious or at all, but you sat behind in front of a chakra. It applies you. Yeah. You've mentioned already so many points regarding the chakra, which is amazing already. So as an individual, would you count yourself as religious, spiritual? How would you see yourself? Even not to be any kind of just point if you got
No. So
yeah.
I will probably say that I have faith. So I believe in God. I'm not religious because I think that religion, to a certain extent, it constricts people. I think having faith in, if you don't believe in God, whatever, I don't care. But like, I care that I believe in God. That's all that matters.
You do you.
Yeah, you do you. I think God is within us, and how you view the world is basically how God shaped you to be. And like, I think the universe and God interchangeable, whatever you believe in, but having a belief system is not just about believing in a higher self. It's also having a belief system that you can create the own life that you want as well. So to believe in a belief system, you have to believe in yourself.
Wow.
Not me turning into some kind of like alien matrix.
Baby, this is the Martian. We're the Martian.
Yeah, now come on.
You are Martian. You are a Martian Transport Federation. You are Martian. You look at a Matrix, like Matrix stars, like after the Doctor Matrix, after it does the Matrix, like no, come in the Matrix. It's true, bro. Like I feel like as well, you understand like about alignment, and like it sounds like you're spiritually attuned to like you're that you know yourself, you know your perception of God, and this is a big thing as well about what is God and what is a God, and it makes such a good point there as well, which I believe as well, that we are God in a sense. God is within us, and God and the universe are interchangeable, and we create our reality. So yeah, it's been great chatting with you today. It's been dope. Thank you so much. I've learned so much already. And I've known you for a while. I've learned so much about you. More about you.
Have I known you for?
3 years now.
And
3 years.
And it's just been your DMs, and I, so yeah.
Basically, she must be Instagram. I love this. This is confidence as well. She messaged me saying, "Oh hey, I like your look. Let's hang out. I want to put a tiny meal up now. We've been since. Yeah, we've gone straight away. It's like I've known you 50 years, and I bet your friends who didn't know me were like, who this? Who that is? Who that? Who that?" I was like, that's my boo. Like, how long have you known each other for? About 2 minutes. And what about it?
Yeah.
And what about it?
What about it? What about it, mate?
Okay, so Rio, one more thing I'll ask you, no, not me jumping. If you could tell your yourself one thing, what would it be?
And this is probably something that I would tell other people as well, but like, the adult that you need when you was a child, you can be that person in the future.
Wow.
So this is why, like, when it comes to trauma and things like that, and like particularly childhood trauma, the best way to have that self-actualization and self-acceptance, and to leverage and to not allow the past to define you as within your adult life, is to simply be the person as an adult where you are now, be that person that you needed when you was a child. And that's literally carried me through, because when I was a kid, I needed me now. I didn't have that. So now I am who I was meant to be, Graham.
I am what I am.
I am what I is. Yeah.
Rio, that's really powerful as well, and it's going to help a lot of people, because I feel like a lot of people think when they go in life and trauma gets to them, they become the person they hated when they're younger, and the person they thought they never become. And that's true God's spirit right there. Being aligned with God, keeping the peace within yourself, and being your own parent.